There is power in the name of Jesus. There is power in the name of Jesus.
Talk to you guys about, a lot of people, they want to know about, what I do as a legal understudy. But I want to tell you something of my experience. I'm only 18. You guys are about 14 or 15 here, right? Yeah, so we're not too far apart. And so I'm 18 now, but I want to tell you a little story before we begin. When I was about 14 years old, I attended Berkeley Institute. I was a smart guy. I would like to think so. And I did my schoolwork. I was class president for about 3 years in a row. I was popular amongst the kids. And around 15, I started to get into some trouble, hanging around the wrong people. I was around your age. Started hanging around the wrong people. My teachers, they always tell me, Eron, you're bright. Don't hang around that. Don't hang around these people. You need to hang around some different people. I didn't listen. When I was 15, I made what was then probably one of the worst decisions of my life. It turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me, but at 15 years old, it's the worst decision of my life. And I decided to run away from home. I left for 10 days. Mind you, I was at my cousin's house. I was safe and I was well. But for 10 days, I left her. My mother, she was wondering where I was. And this was all as a result of the people I was hanging around. I thought that I could do what I wanted to do. What I wanted at home, it wasn't happening. So I decided I was going to leave and not come back. So for 10 days, I was missing. And when you go missing, they put out an alert for you. So I was on the news for about 6 days and waited a couple of days. And then for 6 days, I was on the news. And then the police were looking for me. So at 15 years old, I'm sort of scared. You know what I'm saying? Man, the police are looking for me. I need some help. And so my cousin says, look, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here anymore. The police are looking for you. So I said, all right, cool. I need to find a lawyer to turn myself into the police. I'm missing for 10 days. Nobody knows where I am. I just want to make sure I'm okay. So I do my research on the internet very briefly, and I come across this lady, Elizabeth Christopher. Never heard of her before, but I saw her picture, decided to give her a call. She said, tell you what, come into my office. I came into her office. She took me to the police station, and there was a social worker there waiting on us, social worker and a police officer. And this is what made me want to do law. It solidified my reason. I always wanted to be a lawyer, but it solidified my reason. I'm sitting in the police station. I'm 15 years old, and the police officer that's dealing with me is, I'm just another person that's in the police station. He doesn't see that I'm 15 years old. Yes, I may have done something wrong, but I deserved an opportunity to be treated fairly. And I watched as Miss Christopher and Mr. Dismond, Saul Dismond at the time, she had sent them down there. They were fighting. They said, look, this is a young man, like, what are we doing with him? He's just sitting around here, you're not paying him any attention. He needs to be sorted out. He needs to go somewhere. Like, we need to find out what we're going to do with him. And I watched as these two people who now become the best mentors I've ever had. But these people, they fought for me. As a police, I was just another number in the police station. I was a number that they were going to send to social services. I was going to go off to a voicemail. That was it. But these people fought for me. And I watched them. Although I had done something wrong, these people put their all and their effort into assisting me as a 15-year-old young man. And that solidified my reasoning that I wanted to become a lawyer. Because as lawyers, as criminal barristers, rather, you have people's lives in your hands. Life and liberty, when you're locked up, life and liberty for some are one and the same thing. And I realized then that I wanted to become a lawyer, but I was still in a position where I was sent away abroad to Utah. Anybody here's been to Utah? Exactly, one person out of all you guys been to Utah. It's not a place you want to go. It's the desert. It's literally the wild, wild west. But I was sent out to Utah. It's far away from Bermuda, so I was away from my family. You got a call a week to your parents, and you really could just sit up there for all day, really, if you wanted to. It was just a house with about 11 or 12 boys in the house, and, But I knew that I wanted to become a lawyer, and I solidified that in my head. I am going to become a lawyer. But I found myself deficient. I had left BI midway through 10th grade, and what am I going to do with school? And so I realized then that I had to do something spectacular. I had to put my head down, study, and that's what I did. I was 15 years old, as I told you when I went up there. Within 13 months, I had finished high school. Every single night, I found myself in my room. My roommates, they were sleeping. I was reading my book. I was preparing for the test the next day. And within 13 months, I had finished half of 10th grade that I missed, 11th grade and 12th grade, and I graduated high school at 16 years old. But I'm still in a position because I'm still out in Utah. I'm 16 years old. What am I going to do? So I petitioned my social worker and I said, please allow me to take some university classes out there. So at 16 years old, every Saturday I found myself auditing a pre-law class at Utah Valley University. Every morning I was the youngest person there. I was 16 in the class with the youngest people in the class were probably like 25. But I sat there. I wasn't getting any credits for it, but I knew that I had to consume this information. Eventually I was brought back home to Bermuda. Now you're 16 years old in Bermuda. What are you going to do if you're there? Nobody's going to hire you full time. I knew I wanted to become a lawyer, so every single day I found myself in magistrate's court. Every single day. 9:30 to 4:30, just sitting there, consuming knowledge, watching lawyers, the cut and thrust of, mixing legal analogies with facts of a case. And I was consuming this, and eventually Miss Christopher, who had that experience with me before, she had seen me there every day. She said, "Kid, what are you doing?" She thought I was there to support one of my friends that were getting in trouble. But she had seen me there every single day. And so she said, "Tell you what, I see there's something here. There's a driver, he graduated high school at 16. Tell you what, if you're serious about becoming a lawyer, if you're serious about learning, come with me next week. I have a Supreme Court trial." So I did that. And for that week, I had to show her something. I knew this was my opportunity. This was my shot. So that weekend before I prepared myself, I am ready. And after that week, Miss Christopher said, "You know what, I'll keep you learning. This will work out." And so for about a year and a half, I was with Miss Christopher. I now work at the law offices of Charles Richardson and Craig Attridge in Compass Law Chambers. But I say that to say this. You guys are 14 and you guys are 15. This is crucial time for you guys to pay attention to your studies. For me, it worked out. And I always tell people it was an exceptional case. I can't be used as a poster child, as an example, to say, hey, look, you can get in trouble and then you'll be all right. That's an exceptional case. I can't be necessarily the example of you can do that, you'll be all right. If I was you guys, if I had an opportunity to go back, I would. It makes it so much easier because these are your key years. Pay attention in school, get good grades now. That's all you have to worry about. Get good grades now, because when I'm applying for scholarships, you see on an application form on my transcripts that 9th and 10th grade, you had a below 3.0 GPA average. They don't know Eron here, they don't know my story. They just see your transcript, you're just another number. And so now, these are your key years. You have 4 years to put your head down, sacrifice. We often want success, but we don't want to sacrifice. You guys are young now, you can't go out, but I'm 18 and I find myself having to sacrifice. My friends are going out, but I know I want to become a lawyer one day. I know I want to be successful, and I can't go out. I can't do the same things my peers are because we don't have the same goals. Some of you guys, you have to separate yourself from each other. It's not about friendships. It's not about that right now. Sure, you'll make friends along the way, but what's more important? I know some of you guys said you want to be a football player. You'll understand that sometimes you just can't go out to dinner with your friend. You can't eat fries every day, can you? You want to be a football player. You have to sacrifice. You have to go out, you have to run, you have to practice every day. And so, my message to you guys is just to do your work here. It's your last call, I was told. That it's your last call at the school. This is important. And I have to be frankly honest with you guys. Some of you will excel, and some of you might not make it. That's the reality of it. There's a lot of you guys in there. Maybe one of you will make it. You'll feel embarrassed. You'll feel some sort of anger. You'll feel some sort of disappointment. But use that anger and that disappointment. Take that drive. You never want to feel like that again. You see, when I was 15 years old, I was all on the news. I said I never want to feel like that again. I could have easily taken that and said, you know what, it's done. But I used that disappointment, that anger, as a motivational tool, that I never want to feel like that again. So use that memory. Any difficult situation you guys have, use that. I don't want that to happen to me again, so I have to do what I have to do to achieve what I want. And I think another aspect of what I wanted to talk to you guys today is about speaking up for what you believe in. It's often the case that you guys are young, it's that, some older folks, they might dismiss you, like, you're young, you didn't know what you're talking about. I've been there, I've done that. You guys are learning soon enough. But if you believe in it strongly, stand up for it, speak for it. Because the youth are the future. We are the future. You guys we're in the same generation. It'll be you and I standing up there in the House of Parliament in 10, 15 years. It'll be you and I making the laws. You guys are decision makers. And so the decisions that are made today, they affect you. So if you don't like what's happening, speak up. If you like what's happening and you'd like to see something else happen, speak up, because you guys have a voice. And I think that it's crucially important that you guys, right now, it's often said that you must know what you want to do with your life. You must know, what career you want to go into. Don't put yourself in a box. See, it worked out for me. And I always said, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a lawyer. And when I was with Miss Christopher, she said, Eron, try to go do reinsurance. She says, you'll excel in it. But I couldn't stand it. She sent it to one of her friends, and it was boring. It was paperwork every single day. And I didn't enjoy it. I was good at it, sure, but I didn't enjoy it. So I urge you guys to find something that you love. Don't chase a paycheck. You wanna chase a passion. Because if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Do you feel like you're working when you're playing football? It's fun, right? When you're doing math, you feel like you're doing work? Sure, math sucks, man. But what I'm telling you is that some of us, see, lawyers, and I always teach Charles and Gray, is that people who aren't good at math, they do law. But whatever you're good at, whatever you have a passion for, math for me is work. It's tedious. Math for him, he may enjoy it. It may be something for his brain. You know what I mean? He may just enjoy it. Some of you guys may enjoy it. And so I urge you guys, find something, find a passion, and follow it, and commit to it. And realize that the relationships that you have now, the friendships that you have now, and the persona that you put on for the person sitting next to you, it doesn't matter in 5 or 6 years when you guys are applying for scholarship and you decide you're going to buckle down. The time is really now. You guys are in your last quarter, exams are coming up pretty soon. Study. Because I don't want to put myself in a position where I wanted to impress the person next to me in the classes. And yeah, we had fun, we threw it wrong, but guess what, at the end of the day, they went home and they studied. Yes, we had fun. They went home and they studied, they passed the test, I think. And so, the person that's sitting next to you, they can't take your test for you. They can't succeed for you. So don't worry about impressing each other. Work together. You guys have goals that are the same, work together. And I just urge you guys to follow your passion, not a paycheck. Do what you love. Put your head down and realize that what you are doing today affects your tomorrow. That's really all I have to say to you guys, unless you have some questions. So I did get to talk to a few guys from over here, but if I can guess again, what do you guys want to be? Your name and what you want to do? You young man. Yes. See, and I think you're in perfect space. Perfect space. He says that. He said he hasn't decided yet, but I think he's in the perfect space. I think in a few years you should know, you should have an idea, but never put yourself in a box. So you're open right now. See, myself at your age, I was law. Now what can I do? I can only apply for law scholarships because that's all I put my mind to. That's all I did. But you're open. You haven't decided yet. Keep your options open. Do everything. Take every opportunity that's available. How about you, young man? What's your name? And what's your fallback education? Business. You know what type of business? Yeah. So what are you going to do to, affect your golf game? Yeah. See, and I think it's important. I think it brings up a great point in that we have these sports ambitions. I thought I was going to be an NBA player around the world. And I probably still do. But you're not just competing with the persons that are in this room or the persons that are in Bermuda. You're competing with people worldwide. And so when you have these athletic ambitions, by all means, chase them. Do what you have to do to achieve them. But also recognize that you're competing on a world stage. It's not not just the people in this room, not just the people at this school, but it's a worldwide stage that you're competing on. And so you have to sacrifice for your success and realize that you have to do some things that other people aren't prepared to do. What about you? You don't know what you're going to be? What do you like to do? Play football? Use your team, City, right? Man, we have to stop talking.
I'm for City.
You're for City? Alright, what you want to be, though, man?
Entrepreneur.
Yeah, what type of business? You have any idea yet?
Nah.
No?
I just know I want to earn something.
Yeah. That's good. And you actually bring up another point that I can actually speak to you guys about. Is that a lot of us young people, we work and we go to school so we can work for somebody else for the rest of our lives. That's what it's put out to us. We wake up, we work, we get our paycheck, we pay our bills, we live, and then we die. But if you have that passion, you don't even know what you want to earn, but you just want to earn something, right? You want to run a company. And so my message to you is find a mentor out there. Whatever you want to do, find somebody that you can rely on and learn from them first before you decide to branch out on your own. Because life is always teaching us lessons. We have to forever remain students, no matter how experienced we get. I'll take like 2 more young men. What about you, young man? Yes.
I want to be a stockbroker or a physicist.
A stockbroker. And so,
Someone who helps people want to invest in. You need to get this.
and so what do you do? What's your name again? Okay, Tosh. So what do you do and what have you done so far to achieve it? Do you have books that tell you about it?
I read about my main thing is physics.
Physics?
Yes.
More power to you, man. I can understand science or math. But more power to you. We need more people like you to be successful in these areas. I'll take 2 more last ones. What about you, young man? What's your name? Yeah. Rashad. A game artist? So you're making games like GTA. Try to make them a little less graphic, man. One more. What about you? Now you ready to try to rock?
I want to be an electrician.
And you would say, what type of athletic? What would I say that? What type of athletic? Yeah. Well, it seems like you guys have an idea of what you want to do. And if you don't have an idea of what you want to do, keep your options open. Take every opportunity that comes your way, and you guys will be successful, man. Just work, help each other. When you see each other playing around, talk to each other, encourage each other. Just realize that in 5 years, it's not about games anymore. Real life happens. And that's my message to you guys today. I hope you guys take something from it. All right?